Okay. As I said in my last video, I'm going to make this video about the difference between high-functioning autism and Asperger's. Now, Asperger's itself, in general, is no longer in the DSM. However, people continue to use the term, and they continue to sort of confuse it with high-functioning autism itself. So I thought I'd just kind of address that at least briefly. For one, apparently, I didn't know this, but high-functioning autism is not the same thing as Asperger's, despite the fact that Asperger's is on the autistic spectrum, as well as obviously high-functioning autism. But a lot of the symptoms, specifically in early childhood, that are present in children who have high-functioning autism are not necessarily present in people who have Asperger's, or vice versa. So either way, the criteria that exists now for diagnosing autism in general, which now includes Asperger's. Okay, so according to DSM, I'll just rattle this off. It's actually pretty long, so I'll try to rattle it off fairly quickly. Let's see. Okay, so basically it's diagnosed in degrees of severity, from 1 to 3. 1 yes. Where am I going with this? Okay, so you need apparently to have problems in 1, social reciprocity, 2, nonverbal communication / behavior, bad eye contact, etc., etc., etc. Problems with social relationships, repetitive behaviors / restricted behaviors, speech or motor movements, or unusual use of objects. An example I saw used is that some children with autism will see a wheelbarrow or something, and rather than walk up to it and like try to wheel it around, they'll flip it over and start like playing with the wheels. So it's apparently kind of strange use of object that is seen. It seems really weird to me, but because like other kids probably who don't have autism probably do that as well, but whatever. Continuing. Okay, so sensory issues, or sensory activity or overactivity. So sensitivity or hypersensitivity. Apparently a new symptom, a new point anyway, is that the symptoms must be present in early childhood or may not fully manifest until social demands exceed. So sometimes a child will seem perfectly normal, function, in a regular manner in their own family. However, when put into a social situation such as preschool or grade school, it becomes obvious that there's a little bit of there's something going on. So some problems there. Okay, so these symptoms must limit and impair everyday functioning. So right now, apparently, there is no Asperger's. There is no PDD, which I believe is pervasive developmental disorder. Basically, a lot of former labels have been linked to autism in any way seem to be plopped into the overall spectrum, what they consider, and thereby being judged as being severe, moderate, or mild. So according to some doctors, this can be a very serious problem. For the first part, there is a marked difference between children who have autism, high-functioning autism, and children who have Asperger's. Apparently, they simply behave differently and therefore have different needs from children who have high-functioning autism. So if people who have Asperger's are clumped into the high-functioning autism and autism spectrum disorder in general paradigm, their needs may not be met, or they may not have the proper services and supports in place to help them, basically. So obviously that's a huge problem. And I think that in terms of everything, that's the biggest problem right now. So yeah, those are just supposedly some of how the diagnostic criteria, whatever, works here with high-functioning autism and Asperger's. Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen different academics. For example, one academic who's famous and who specializes very much in studying autism and Asperger's. His name is Tony Atwood, and he's a Australian. I believe he's a psychologist. I believe he has a PhD in psychology. I don't think he's an MD. But he, conducts lectures and stuff all over the world. He's written books. Maybe I'll link one of the books or one of his citations into the description of this video so you can have a look at it, because he disagrees with a lot of what I just said. I think he's fairly in favor of putting Asperger's on the autistic spectrum and keeping it there as a means of being able to properly help and treat people and with autism or Asperger's. So yeah, those are the main differences. Also, I'm gonna mention now, I used to make videos in the past, and mostly the videos were focused on sort of vlogging, talking about particular challenges that I viewed as existed as a result of dealing with a mental illness, which I personally have. Disorder. I prefer to call it disorder. I don't know how to call it an illness, because when I say illness, I feel like it implies that it's something that can be cured, which it can't. So, and that's okay, but whatever. So I've decided I'm not only going to focus this channel on discussing this sort of informative stuff and social media, how it affects this, and the results of this, which originally is what I said would be my focus, but I think I'm also going to sort of describe sort of day-to-day practical things that occur in my life, kind of. I feel really narcissistic saying that at all, but I think that in a twisted way it might be kind of helpful, because a lot of people who watch my videos, I think, may be, or actually a few I know are dealing with mental illnesses. So, I mean, I find that it helps me a lot of the time to watch videos with, people who are dealing with some of the same problems that I am. And so, I mean, why not try to do that as well? So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that right now, because, and also, side note, I'm also kind of interested in personality typology. That's not my sole interest. It's something I kind of dabble in. So I'll probably make some videos based on, focused on Myers-Briggs personality typology, which is Jungian psychology, because I find that fairly interesting as well. So right now it's going to be 3 focuses. 1, the media slash oh god, this is getting long. Crap. Okay, media slash informative stuff. 2, vlogging. And 3, specific MBTI or Myers-Briggs personality type videos. Alrighty then. So I'm going to stop. Here we go.